Yesterday I ran my first half marathon. My first half marathon ever. I've been running since 2016. So it's about 8 years now. I didn't start doing competitive racing until last year. It's my first half marathon. This is my fourth race overall. There's a couple things that I've learned about myself from running. One of the first things that I learned in the first few races is that I'm tough, but I could be tougher. And so it set a higher bar for me. And I think that's what happens whenever you go into direct competition with any other human being, right? Competition really forces you, especially in the sports and the athletic realms, it really forces you to take stock into the current level that you're at now, and also have a very clear example of what you could be when you see the other people around you that are outperforming you, right? Now, another aspect of it that I'm sure a lot of you guys know who engage in physical activities, that physical activity is also very mental. And furthermore, it's very spiritual. And I would go on to say that running is an extremely spiritual act. Extremely. Running for me is meditation. Running for me, some of the most intense and longest runs that I've had in the heat of the mid-July summer has brought me into conversations with God. And that for me shows the law at work, right? If you want to find salvation, you need to go to the most uncomfortable places. The timing for the half marathon that I ran yesterday was quite fortuitous, and the reason I would say that is because the day before I had a complete emotional breakdown. I was feeling like there was something creeping up. I've been really busy, not really able to attend to a lot of the emotional needs that were being triggered in the past 2 weeks for me. I didn't make the time to address any of those things. I just kept thugging it out. But they were bringing up a lot of emotional issues from very early in my life, right? And so I had a slight opportunity of time to address those things, and I did, and I just let it all out. I say that to say that it helped put me in a certain state of mind where when I came into that race, I was on some fucking shit. I was gonna run a distance of 14 miles in this half marathon. I hadn't run a distance of 14 miles in a few months. I didn't fucking care. I said, I'm either gonna kill this race or this race is gonna kill me. And I'm gonna put everything that I have into it. All the pain, all the frustration, all the crying, all the tears, all the anger, that I was feeling the day before, I just poured it into that race. And man, did I run my fucking ass off, man. Dude, that was one of the best performances I ever put on. Ever, you know. And the fuel came from a very deep, dark place. It did, you know. There was moments where I wanted to give in. I wanted to slow down. I wanted to take it a little bit easier. I saw other runners taking it a little bit easier. But I have learned from my past races that that's just a mental trick that you fall into. In my past races, I've gotten to a certain point where I've done that, where I just kind of go back into a comfortable pace, and I might stay there. Or I might just stay there for a little bit and then kick it back up into high gear later. This time, I didn't let myself do that at all. I kept myself right above my comfortable pace. Like, just above, like, you know, when you hit that pace where you're just plateau and you're just going, you can go at this pace forever. I contend for you, when you go into a race or any time that you run, any time that you train, don't stay there. Do not stay there. Push just a little bit above that spot, right? So that you're consistently right at the edge. You're consistently right over the edge. And what you're gonna find is that when you're there, there's nothing except your breath. That's it. You can't focus on anything else. The minute you start, your mind starts wandering to another place, you slow down. You slow down. You have to strictly focus on the breath. And when you focus on the breath, you're engaging directly into the spirit. And for much of that race, all my mind was focused on was inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And I'll give you another trick that I learned. And this is something that I believe has allowed me to go into these races. And like, I'm not winning these races first, second place, but I'm doing pretty good, I think, for somebody who just started racing. Like, one of the I haven't gotten the placings yet for this race that I did yesterday, but one of the races I did before that was a 10K, and I placed in 32nd place out of like 300 people. You know what I mean? And I didn't expect that, honestly. I didn't think I was going to be 32nd place. I thought I was going to be further down, right? And you know, I compete in martial art. I've competed in martial arts in the past and trained in martial arts, and one of the things that a lot of people say is your cardio is fucking crazy, bro. Like, you just keep going. And one of the secrets to that is I don't breathe through my mouth. Why? If you see two people fighting, once you see one of those people breathing through their mouth, what's the signal that you get? They're tired. And as soon as that happens, the tides turn against that person, right? They themselves give themselves a signal, right? When you start breathing through your mouth, that's a universally, no matter what language you speak, no matter what culture you're in, everybody understands, motherfucker, you're tired, right? Your body recognizes that signal also and says, oh, you're tired? Oh, we're tired. We need to slow down. This is too much right now, right? Don't give your body that signal. Don't do it. See, a person that's not tired is calmly breathing through their nose the whole entire time. I don't give a fuck how intense this is for you. Breathe through the nose. And it's going to be extremely uncomfortable at first. Very, very uncomfortable. You're going to feel like you're drowning, like you want to gasp for air. You're going to tell yourself, this is not enough air. I need more air in my lungs faster. I need to breathe through my mouth. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I'm going to tell you why. This is now where my doctor knowledge comes into place. Your red blood cells carry oxygen. Your red blood cells have a protein inside of them called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin is a protein that has 4 subunits, and these 4 subunits work together. And what do I mean by that? Each one of these subunits can bind onto an oxygen molecule, okay? Now, when one of the 4 subunits binds to an oxygen molecule, it makes it easier for the other 3 subunits to bind the oxygen molecule. When 2 out of the 4 have bound an oxygen molecule, it makes it even more easier for the other 2 that are left to bind an oxygen molecule. So on and so forth. And so what I'm saying is that the more oxygen molecules that bind to oxygen, the more the higher affinity the hemoglobin protein has for oxygen, and the more it can bind, right? So it's kind of like a positive feedback loop. And in enzyme kinematics, we call it cooperativity, right? Okay, because the subunits are cooperating with each other, right? Okay. Oxygen is not the only molecule that can change the behavior of hemoglobin to make it bind oxygen more efficiently. There are other molecules that are floating around in your bloodstream that can also bind to hemoglobin and change its behavior, such as carbon dioxide, such as protons from acids, from lactic acid, for example, right? So what does that mean? That means that, for example, if there's a lot of carbon dioxide in your system, the hemoglobin molecule is going to recognize that as a signal that the body is exerting a lot of work. And so it tells the body, hey, you need to bind oxygen faster and better. So you see that when you breathe through your nose, you're depriving yourself of a certain flow of oxygen, right? That's why you open your mouth, because you feel like you need more flow. When you just keep it through the nose, the flow stays the same. Don't increase the flow, but your demand has increased, hasn't it? Okay. So what do your red blood cells do? You're forcing your red blood cells and your hemoglobin molecules to act more efficiently, to absorb more oxygen from the air that you breathe in, and to deliver more oxygen to the tissues, and to get rid of more carbon dioxide. You're forcing your red blood cells to become more efficient when you breathe just through the nose. Look at me, I'm smoking a cigar. Some people would think, oh, like you're a runner, you're a cardio, this, that, and the third. What, you smoke? Like, I've been smoking for 15 odd years. I used to inhale a lot because I didn't smoke cigars. I smoked cigarettes and other stuff. And yeah, my cardio was trash. It was horrible. And I didn't exercise or anything like that. Then I started exercising, cut down on the smoking a little bit. Now I just smoke cigars. That's it. Cigars you don't inhale. I mean, I hope you don't. You could if you really wanted to. Whatever. I don't. Anyway, I say that to say this. You know, there's a lot of biases as to like what people should do and how they should train in X, Y, and Z. And I'll give you another example. I know I'm kind of like ranting now a little bit, but just bear with me here. I'll give you another example. Recording time. Like, I never record my time. I barely ever record my distance of running. I just know that if I run to this place and I run back, it's about this distance. That's all that matters to me. I don't give a fuck about numbers, speed, all that shit. I don't care. I don't train that way. I know that my training is valuable if, like I told you before, I stay right above that zone of comfort where I'm in discomfort. And the longer I can stay there, the better that training session is for me. And that's all that matters. And that's a completely mental thing, because I don't need a number to tell me, because a number gives you this false sense of limitation, right? It says, this is the number that I'm capable of. It says, this is the number that I'm capable of. And subconsciously, you're telling yourself, I'm not capable of more. I know consciously you know that you can get there with training, with time, but subconsciously somewhere in your body and your mind, you read the signal as this is my limit. This is how much I can do. I don't play those games with myself. I don't give myself limitations. Why? For what? This world has plenty of physical limitations. Don't place mental limitations above that. On top of that. You don't need to do that to yourself, right? So, I need to go now. I need to go do this job. So, those are my 2 cents. Running is spiritual. Running is a purely mental act. If you ever go into a race, you can snuff out and take people's energy from just running past them and not slowing down at all. What you'll see is usually when you pass people, most people, 95% of people, they slow down because they get disheartened. Don't be that person. When somebody runs past you, use that as motivation to run even faster. All right? And the whole time that you race, the only thing you should be thinking about is breathing. And the competitive aspect of yourself needs to be fully engaged. And the only thing that you should be thinking about is, I need to pass the motherfucker in front of me, and whoever the fuck is behind me is not going to catch me. So much so, this is a trick. This is a game that I will play with myself. If the motherfucker behind me catches me, he killed my whole family. That's the game I play with myself. And I'm not going to let you kill my whole family, bro. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right. So, choose the mental games you play with yourself. See you guys next time.